Hello, Coolers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest developing stories. We start with Franck Kessie, as it has been reported that Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United are crazy about signing the Barca midfielder. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then, secondly, talking about Sergio Busquets, as it has been reported that the Barca midfielder is likely to accept Barca's renewal offer despite a significant pay cut. We're also going to be discussing on that. So guys, as we get right into the full story, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. According to Roger Torello of Mundo Deportivo, three of the big six of the Premier League, namely Chelsea, Manchester United, and Tottenham Hotspur, are crazy about signing Barcelona midfielder Franck Kessie. The Ivory Coast international joined the club only last summer, arriving on a free transfer after his contract at AC Milan had expired. Kessie endured a difficult first half of the season at Barcelona as he struggled to break into Xavi's starting 11. But of late, the 26-year-old has been growing in prominence at Spotify Camp Nou, especially in the recent injury-enforced absence of Pedri. He was particularly impressive in the recent Copa del Rey semi-final against Real Madrid. However, Kessie's future continues to be a subject of debate given that the Catalan Giants need to make some sales to resolve financial fair play issues. Inter Milan continue to be linked with the 26-year-old, but now as many as three Premier League clubs in Chelsea, Manchester United and Tottenham are showing an interest in the Barcelona ace. Tottenham in particular have shown the strongest interest in signing Kessie. Their manager Antonio Conte knows the midfielder well from his time in Italy and wants to add him to the roster next summer, although the manager's uncertain future in North London could dictate things. As for Chelsea, Kessie is being viewed as a possible replacement for N'Golo Kante, who is out of contract at the end of the season. The Frenchman is close to recovering from a long-term injury, and even if he signs a new deal, given his age and fitness woes, a new midfielder is on the agenda. Meanwhile, Manchester United are looking for another midfielder to add to their ranks after signing Casemiro last summer. While they continue to be interested in Frankie de Jong, Kessie has also emerged as a potential target for Eric Ten Hag's side. The Ivorian, however, is fully focused on Barcelona and has no desire to leave in the summer. But the financial fair play problems could compel the club to consider otherwise. Franck Kessie honestly have been performing well lately after Pedro have been out with injury, and I think this guy is an absolute good player, honestly, and there have been no reason that can justify why Xavi have always been benching him and hardly plays him, because I think Franck Kessie now is making the best, in fact, the use of the absence of certain players and trying to convince Xavi that he, like, come on, you couldn't have doubted me, I can do this. And we have been seeing some consistent performances from Franck Kessie. I think, this guy is naturally talented. This, even if he's not the Barca or the flair, the technical player that Barca likes to have, I think he adds different flair to this game that Barca plays. And honestly, we all know football is evolving. Franck Kessie have been having, I think, a good season, especially at this period, because I think the first half of the season, it was a terrible one for Franck Kessie, as he was hardly given a chance by the manager. And right now, he's making the most out of the chances he's been given. And I think that's something great and positive. So whatever rumors that have been coming out about Franck Kessie's future, I think the player himself will just be rubbishing those rumors, because right now, I think he's enjoying himself at the club. Franck Kessie was strongly linked with an exit from Barca even in January, but the player refused to leave. His agent even came and said Franck Kessie wants to stay at Barca, and he believes that his time will come when he will improve and show the coaching staff that he deserves to be a core part of the team. And exactly that is what he's doing right now. I think sometimes some of these injuries tends to be a blessing to some players who can be used from the bench and they can perform so well and change the decisions of managers moving forward. Because I don't think Franck Kessie will continue to stay on the bench for much longer, even if Pedri comes back from injury. Because I think manager Xavi have already seen what Franck Kessie brings to the team. He has been performing well. This is a guy who was the main player, in fact, who was the best player in AC Milan last season, helping them winning the Scudetto. And when Xavi was benching him consistently, especially in the first half of the season, many people were surprised. And I think many teams could have been looking at it and saying, look, we need this kind of player. And yeah, he is being benched by Barcelona all the time. But things have changed so fast, and I think Franck Kessie right now is having a good time of his life as a Barca player. Then on to the next story of discussion. Reports circulated in Spanish media earlier today suggested that Barcelona had sent Sergio Busquets an official proposal to renew his contract, albeit on a lower salary. Now, Helena Condis provides an update on the midfielder situation. According to the journalist report, the Barcelona captain has good chances of accepting the club's offer. There are good feelings between the player and Barca, and he still feels valued in Xavi's squad. As part of his new deal, however, Busquets will receive less than half of his current salary, which stands at 30 million euro. The new contract would see him at Spotify Camp Nou for 1 year, with the option to extend it for another season based on the number of games he participates in. The captain's wage reduction is an important part of the deal, given that Barcelona are under pressure to ease their wage bill. With Busquets accepting a lower salary, the club could have enough space to register incoming players. Given that Sergio Busquets is already 34, one would expect him to have one more year at the most left of his tank. Needless to say, it will be vital for Xavi to chalk out a plan to gradually phase out the captain for a new phase next season. Ilkay Gundogan seems set to become the club's next midfield signing and can play in the pivot position if the team needs it. However, Barcelona continue to monitor the situations of Martin Zubimendi and Marcelo Brozovic, both of whom are considered the ideal replacement. Busquets has made 21 La Liga match appearances for the club this season, providing 3 assists in that duration. He averages over 10 defensive actions and 70 touches per 90 for Barca. The veteran is expected to start when Barca take on Real Madrid in El Clasico on Sunday. He will likely be paired with Pedri and Frankie on the right or on the night as Barca return to their strongest midfield after weeks of missing Pedri's services. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye-bye.